Right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Quantum Wednesday around the Deltakit Community Fund. This is a new initiative that Riverlane and Unitary Foundation have collaborated to start. And it is an opportunity for our community members to contribute to Deltakit and get paid for it as long-term contributors. So we're really excited to start this off. We launched it last week, and this Quantum Wednesday is here to serve as almost like an Ask Me Anything. So Gemma, Sara, Adrien, Amireza are all on the Deltakit team, on the Riverlane team, and we'll be presenting the fund to you all for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up to you all for questions for the rest of the time. So really excited to have you all, and I'll let you take it away from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Vina. Really appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So we just wanted to give a little bit of framing in case you may have seen the initiative and haven't actually heard of who is Riverlane. So Riverlane is an organization who is the world leader in quantum error correction. And that technology really unlocks quantum computing and the promise of a new age of human progress. We partner with many of the world's quantum computer companies, leading high-performance computing centers, and really our aim is to solve the error problem blocking their path to utility scale. So when quantum computers become useful and at scale. So we work across many industries as well. And we have, as Vina said, we've launched an initiative with the Unitary Foundation, and it's really focusing on our Deltakit software offering. And Deltakit is the open source software for developing and adopting quantum error correction. So kind of think of it as the sort of area where people can go in, experiment, build, and kind of evaluate things that they're doing, simulate things that they're doing before moving on to hardware, which obviously isn't accessible to everyone at the moment. And our fund, why have we launched this initiative? So the community fund is really about supporting external open source contributions, building new features for Deltakit. You know, we were really inspired by the amount of people that were contributing to the Unitary Hack and other initiatives that the Unitary Foundation had launched. And we kind of wanted to keep that momentum and work with more people externally to try and kind of cultivate new ideas and also gain sort of development input on some of the features that we were looking to try and achieve. And the fund is available globally and distributes awards on a rolling basis. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about that as well in the next few slides. So Adrien, I don't know if you want to share your screen to go into the kind of open issues so you can walk through that as well.
Sure. Let me. Yep, you should be. No, that's not the correct window. Yeah, sure. This window. You should be able to see my screen.
Yeah.
Nice. So what we're speaking about today is this Deltakit repository under the Deltakit organization. So you can have a look at it. It's under github.com/Deltakit. You will see that we are a little bit in a transition where the main Deltakit repository includes several subpackages, and these subpackages are also their own package in the Deltakit organization. The way forward is those subpackages here. But for the moment, let's keep things in Deltakit here, and we will sort out everything after. In terms of issues, so as part of that open source initiative and open source fund, we at Riverlane opened a few issues that I will talk about that we thought were good targets for that fund. And in order to let people that didn't have an idea on how to improve the software, maybe pick one that is already out there. I will mention briefly that the fund is open to any issue. So if there is something you really want to have in Deltakit and you would like to work on, what you can do is open a new issue using the request here, request template, and say in the issue that you would like it to be considered for the open source fund. There is already quite a lot. These are all issues for like targeting the open source fund. I won't present them because I'm not the one that opened them. What I will do is present you quickly the 3 issues we initially opened for that. This does not mean that only these 3 issues are considered, just to be clear. So the first one is about finding automatically bounds for error budgeting. So a quick recap, error budgeting, you have a link to the Deltakit website here presenting error budgeting. Error budgeting is a very useful tool for quantum error correction researchers because it allows you to understand what are the main source of errors that really impact your performance, your quantum error correction performance. At the moment, when trying to compute error budgeting, what you have to do is provide bounds for each of the noise parameter. So these bounds needs to satisfy several constraints, and it is something that is not really user-friendly. So we would like to be able to compute those bounds automatically. This is the first issue. This is just an overall presentation. If you want to go deeper into this issue to understand it better, feel free to ask questions on this issue specifically, 216. You can, with a GitHub account, you can just type a comment here, hey, I have a question, and send your comment. And we will come back to you and try to answer your questions. As you see, some people already did answer some questions. And I try as much as possible to answer quickly. I've not been able to these last few days, but we'll try to get back at you as soon as possible. This is the first one. The second issue is about implementing a benchmark suite for ZX graphs. So there already exist open source several initiatives for quantum circuits, like having a collection of quantum circuits that people can benchmark their optimizations, for example, on. And so they can say, I benchmarked my compiler on bench press, for example. Out of the 1,000 circuits, 900 passed with that performance, and 100 of them didn't pass. And so my compiler does not compile everything perfectly. And what that helps, where that helps, is that it gives a standard that the community can test on, and it helps people comparing different tools. So anyone implementing a compiler for optimizing quantum circuits, for example, can compare its optimization, his or her optimization method with others, as long as that person is using the same benchmark suite. And so the goal of that idea, or the goal of that issue, is to have such a benchmark suite, so to have such a benchmark like collection of objects for ZX graphs. There have been a lot of discussion. I haven't had the time to go and answer everything or answer anything, to be fair. I will do so later, but very briefly for the people interested, the licensing thing is to be discussed, and it will probably be Apache 2, but this is not set in stone yet. Anything that is incompatible with the license we end up taking is out of the question. And the goal here is a collection of set in stone ZX graphs that will not change at all, or only change when we bump a version, so that it can be used as a common benchmarking suite that people can reuse and compare their optimization because they are benchmarking on exactly the same graphs. The third issue is about computing thresholds of quantum error correction codes. So for people not familiar with quantum error correction, there is a fundamental theorem that says that there is a point, there is a physical noise, physical noise floor, where if you increase the size of your code, if you increase the distance of your code, it will eventually get better. This point is called the threshold. So here what you can see is the threshold here. It is a point where higher distances, so for example, the green curve, are becoming better than lower distances. And so at the moment, the way to compute that threshold is basically you do a sweep of all the parameters and you try to find exactly where these lines cross. I figured that there might be a better way of doing it, a more efficient way to try to compute it efficiently. And that is the goal of this issue. I also want to say that we already had a lot of good applications for this issue. So it's maybe not the one you want to target first. But hey, feel free to submit something if you really want to work on that. Just know that we already had a lot of applications. And that's essentially it for the 3 issues that we submitted as part of potential issues for the OSS fund. So back at you, Gemma.
Thank you, Adrien. Okay. Sara, did you want to run through the FAQs?
Sure. So thank you, Adrien. So some bookkeeping before we open the floor for some questions and comments and everything you have in mind you want to tell us is that just stuff that was already on the webpage for the community fund / stuff Gemma and Adrien already covered, but just to cover all of the bases before again we get your questions is so the rewards are ranging from $2,000 to $4,000, and that range depends on the size of the implementation. So the issues that Adrien went over, some of them maybe will require more code or more complex code than others. So based on your proposed answer, then we'll decide the range of the award. The community, as Adrien said, we already have so many people who are interested, which is so exciting. But the first review will take place over the things that we already received, plus whatever you guys are gonna submit is till the August 17th. So that will be the first time the team is gonna sit together and review their words. After that, it will be on a regular basis to review if anyone submitted any new proposals. One thing I would like to remind you all is please keep your pull request size moderate because so it will be easier for our team to review it. So if your code is more than 1,000 lines, we'll ask you kindly to divide it into subroutines and have each subroutine be its own pull request, and then you can say that they all come together in the end to solve the problem. So then we can review them smoother, and then that will be easier to merge them into Deltakit. Gemma, next slide, please. Again, as Adrien said, Adrien just shared the 3 issues that was potential, but if you have any idea about something else, if you use Deltakit and you feel like there is a feature that's not there that you think it will be very useful if we have it, please do propose it, and if we like it, then it's great. Another thing is, even if the idea that you have is not within the scope that is this funding or this award, please do also raise the issue, and then it will not be qualified for the award, the financial one, but we can support you by through mentorship with our engineers and research in Riverlane. One important thing is because we all know AI, we all use Claude and ChatGPT, so we cannot tell you never use it. However, use it with caution. We ideally want you to be the owner of the code, to have written most of the code yourself, and to have come up with the idea yourself. Because we will have conversations with you, we'll ask you to change things, so it's important to us that it is your code and you understand everything that you've implemented. That last thing I want to say is that we will have office hours that will happen twice a month on Wednesday, and I will talk with Vina about the times, and we will announce them on Discord as soon as we come to a decision. I think that's all from us. And yes, any questions about anything that we said or something that we forgot to say?
Hey everybody, this is Barry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Hey, Barry.
Well, hey, well, first of all, I appreciate being able to join this. I'm a self-taught developer and certainly a quantum enthusiast, but not a quantum PhD or researcher. But it's certainly a very interesting and rapidly evolving field that is a great interest to me. I did participate in the most recent Unitary hack. I'm just curious, what's the distinction between sort of these issues versus stuff that goes into the hackathons, and how do you distinguish which ones go into which?
No, I can have a try. Yeah. So I would say that the issues in Unitary Hack are smaller in size and smaller in impact in the code base. Unitary Hack is a 2-week long hack where people are expected people can contribute to several repositories and open several PRs. And so I would say the expected amount of time for solving a Unitary Hack issue, like an average Unitary Hack issue, would be maximum a few days. Whereas here, the expected amount of time to solve an issue properly is more on a few weeks to a few months time of proper development time. You will find that on the issues I presented, some of them look like they can be done very quickly, but they involve a lot of numerical methods, which means you have a lot of simulations to launch in order to check that what you've implemented is correct, which takes time and which basically will slow down iteration on the code a lot. And so even though the code by itself seems simple, I expect that the debugging and iteration for performance on the code will take time. And so I would say the main issue is size of the work, or expected size of the work.
I would also add that because this is longer term and you're applying to submit to one of these issues, it's you working on that issue, right? It's not you're competing with other hackers to complete it. So you're working directly with the Deltakit team, and you're like the dedicated grantee that's closing out that larger issue.
Gotcha. Well, and then so quick follow-up. So this is a separate distinct from the existing Unitary Foundation microgrant. So it sounds like unlike a hackathon where you're just sort of like, hey, I'll try that. It's more a formal grant application process, microgrant. So I think it's a low level of effort, but still, if I wanted to work on, say, one of these issues, it would be like pick one, focus on it, submit a proposal, and then if it's say, hey, okay, that sounds like a good approach, then go forward from there versus the hackathon, which is kind of like do 10 things and just see what sticks.
That's exactly it. Yeah, this is like a hybrid between our microgrant program and Unitary Hack.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the first question, I would also add that because it's longer term, we have more time to discuss with the person that has been assigned to the issue. So you should likely expect more guidance from people at Riverlane than Unitary Hack, where the guidance is basically PR review.
Gotcha. Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question in the chat. So what's the criteria for selecting grant recipients, and what's the application process? Should the proposal be submitted as a comment under the GitHub issue? Adrien, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So the application should be done through Google Doc poll, so you can discuss the issue, you can discuss the thing you want to apply to on the issue, maybe to clear up some questions you have, maybe to make the scope more clear to you, and then apply through that Google Doc or that Google poll or whatever it's called these days, where you have the link now in the chat. And that's the only way to apply. So if you just say in a GitHub issue, hey, I want to apply to that, your application is not done. You should fill out that Google form. If you don't, we won't consider your application. And okay, what are the criteria? Criteria is, I would say, criteria are whether or not your plan is realistic, both in terms of architecture you are proposing and in terms of time you think you will have, you think you will need in order to implement that plan. Knowing that we don't expect a perfect plan first, we expect like overall direction, but we will discuss together in order to align on what will end up being implemented or not. And that's it. Whether or not, your application process, I think that's it, except if anyone else wants to add something.
Yeah, I want to briefly add a
Okay. Sorry.
bit on that. Sorry. Basically, yeah, as Adrien mentioned, our criteria, first of all, if you are making a new issue and you want to work on something that you think is going to be useful, we do our best to, as quick as possible, triage the issue and tell you if that's the right call out or not. And you'll see our responses as a comment on the issue itself. But the criteria that we look for, it should be doable. It should be reasonably written down in terms of the time, in terms of what milestones you want to take. I personally suggest don't just copy paste some AI answers, because it makes our life quite hard to follow on what you really want to do. And as good as you basically present what you want to do and as relevant it is to Deltakit and the roadmap that we want to work on, you get a higher chance of approval and being accepted to the program.
I would add that in addition, like regarding the realistic piece of it, it's a 3-month or so timeline, right? 3 to 6 months max. So that's kind of what we're working within too, right? So it may be realistic for like a couple years, but that's not what this specific grant is focusing on. So I would keep that timeline in mind as well.
Yeah, hello. I have a question to be asked. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
It's regarding the issue 319, the request to implement a ZX graph benchmark suite. So coming to that, it's a bit technical. Is it the right time to ask it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, go ahead, and I'll do my best to answer it.
So, sure. Like for the ZX benchmark suite in the issue 319, as I told, is the intent a pinhead or a version corpus that papers can cite? Or
Yeah.
ephemeral regeneration from the upstream branches? Like it changes what the package is actually.
Yeah. So that's what I tried. So this is one of the questions that was asked in the issue, and that's what I tried to very briefly answer. I think version corpus is the way to go, so that people can. One of the goal of that is to have something that people can use in order to compare their different implementation and optimization. And so version corpus, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Actually, we posted a lot of comments, and I think so. There's someone with the tag Adrien, NELIMEE. Is it you? GitHub, yeah. So you told like you'll be
It's me.
responding. Sorry for the long day, but I didn't get the answer yet on that. So that's the reason I asked that question. I was just curious
So
to know whether I'm the right way or not. So yeah. So even I will attach the repo link to that, so you can have a check on it in the GitHub issue of my page. Yeah. I think so in the second company. Yeah, that's the doubt I have. Thanks, Adrien. Yeah.
You're welcome.
There's a couple of other comments, Adrien.
Yeah.
How does 319 benchmarking suite overlap or not overlap with the metric tool?
So to me, the results that people will get out of that benchmarking suite can be included in metric. I hope I have the scope of metric right in my mind. If not, there are plenty of people from Unitary Fund here that can correct me, hopefully. So don't let me say something that is wrong. But to me, metric is a collection of benchmark results. What 319 is trying to do is having a benchmark corpus that you can run things on in order to get those results.
Yeah, sure.
So to me, it does not overlap at all with metric. It is rather complementary with metric. And hopefully from that one, we will be able to generate things, generate data that will then be fed into metric.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and is there a limit on the number of proposals which one can add in a quarter? It's a great question. I'm guessing. Sorry, you're smiling about this one. Do you have a view on this one?
Sure. I would say ideally one proposal per quarter. As we said, like the work will be a lot of work. So you're going to be working with us. We'll give you feedback, and then you will work on that. So one proposal per quarter. And another thing that I forgot to say in housekeeping is if you did submit a proposal and it did not get selected, we ask you that you wait till the next quarter to maybe submit it again or edit it and submit it again based on like any feedback we will give you. Yeah. What does the mentorship actually look like? Will it be peer
Sorry, Sarah. Maybe
Yes.
I could add this comment as well, because to
Absolutely.
remember, the
Yeah.
number of applicants that we're going to accept is quite limited per each project and round. So don't get disappointed if you don't get into it. It doesn't mean your work was not good or your proposal was not good necessarily. It's like a very limited capacity that we can take. So just wait for the next round or be in contact with us. It's very important to know that.
Yes. Thank you, Amaraza. So how does the mentorship actually look like? Will there be PR reviews and discussion or also review meetings? Gemma? Do you know?
I think that's more of an Adrien or Amaraza one actually on the mentorship, because that's not something I'm necessarily familiar with.
So maybe now that I have my webcam on, I can answer this as well. Basically, the mentorship is going to be like a asynchronous conversation during the period that you're gonna get to the midpoint of the mid check. Like I think Rena could comment on that. We are following the Unitary Foundation style of these micro grants. So we start when you get approved. We will have a meeting. We discuss what we want to do, and then that will be our first meeting. And then we can asynchronously communicate through the issues, and someone will be responsible for that project. In the midpoint, we check on again and see what's the blocker, what's left, what's done, and then the final chat when the project has been finished.
Yes, that's exactly it. So we will have some face-to-face, like virtual check-ins that I will be overseeing. And those will be sort of like the big touchstones where we chat about milestones. So it will be like an initial call, a midpoint check-in halfway through. So whether you have a 3-month or 6-month grant, it'll be in the middle of that timeline. And then at the end, we'll have some exit interviews and things like that. So those are like the main touch points. And then, as Amaraza said, there are a lot of virtual, just text-based async sort of check-ins throughout. Anybody have any other questions? Oh.
Yeah. Is there a Deltakit channel or thread on the Discord?
Not yet. Yeah, we're waiting until we start choosing grantees. We're trying to make sure that it's not too confusing for like you all as potential grantees or future grantees to like know where to post, right? So we will create a Discord thread if it makes sense to, right? If it makes more sense to have all of the conversation on GitHub, that may be the way we move forward. We're still trying to work out the kinks right now to figure that out.
I want to add something, Vina, if you don't mind. So, though there might not be a channel on Discord, myself and Adrien, and I think Amareza, are you on Discord? We're on Discord, so you can reach out to us if you were stuck with something, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, so if you need to learn Deltakit, let's follow up on Dusty's question here. Actually, a great resource for that is the Deltakit textbook, and it teaches you about quantum error correction and Deltakit, and it's a great resource. And I can add the link to it in the chat right now, and you can use that, and it will walk you through some fundamental quantum error correction and how to use stuff on Deltakit.
And there's a question on grant payments being made at the mid and final review or at the end after the final review. Do you want to go into that, Vina? Because I know that this is something that you've done previously.
Yes, absolutely. So this is similar to our microgrant program. So once you are granted the grant, we give you the first half right away so that you have the funds to do the work, right? We're not, it's almost like an advance, I guess. And then after the midpoint check-in with the advisors, we award the second half. So it's the midpoint, just to dive into that just really quickly, is a time for you to talk about, this is how far we've come so far. This is what I want to accomplish next in the second half. And this is how the advisors or the mentors can help me in the second half as well. So it is like a more of a casual chat, but it allows the mentors on the Deltakit team to really understand how far you are so far. But as long as you make it to that meeting, you will likely have the second half of the grant too, unless there's like real dire circumstances. Any other questions? Okay. I know we have a few other follow-ups that are happening. Alessandra, you said we could take that back to Discord to chat more about metric. So happy to facilitate those conversations. And as Sara has said, as others have said, please do ping us on Discord. You can kind of find each of us if you have questions or if you need to, just if you have questions, essentially. And yeah, thank you all for joining us. To the team, is there anything else you want to kind of put out to everybody before we hop off?
No, I think this has been great. Thank you everyone for joining and two for like your interaction and all of your questions today. It's great to kind of hear those. We will obviously keep promoting this, and if there's anything that you have any questions for, please reach out to us, on Discord or obviously by submitting the form as well. So yeah, really appreciate everyone joining and for your engagement today. It's great to see so many of you interested in this initiative, and we're happy to be part of it. So thank you.
And as mentioned, we will be reviewing in a couple weeks on August 17th or during the week of August 17th. And you guys should hopefully expect some responses and reach outs from us by the end of August, beginning of September.
Great, thanks so
I
much.
have one question to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the communication, it happens via Discord, but for the comments being dropped on the GitHub repos for the issues, will it be addressed or not?
What do you mean by addressed?
Like, I mean, like the major mode of communication, it happens in the Discord, like on like GitHub. That's it.
So you mean,
Okay.
will we answer the comments on GitHub? Is that
Yeah,
the question?
regarding any kind of issues or doubts, like for the further communication, Discord is the more preferred one, right? Like rather than GitHub. Yeah, I think you got my point.
I
Yeah.
I would
Go ahead,
really
Gina.
say, and Adrien, you could correct me on this. I would say, if it's specifically about one of the issues, use
Yeah.
GitHub,
Yeah.
and so that the technical team can respond directly in there, and you have all the context within that. If it's about, grant payments, like more of the logistical, larger things, use Discord.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay Kumar. Yeah.
Sorry, Vina, there was one more question after we said thank you. So the question about the textbook. So yes, the textbook is not under the funding. However, yes, if you have any contribution to the textbook itself is open source. And if you have any ideas about how to improve it, please do send us an issue or a pull request, but it will not be under the community fund. However, it will be with me. So if you do have anything about the textbook, you can raise it on GitHub and I will answer you, or you can tell me on Discord as well.
Super cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day. We appreciate your interest and excited to see your proposals, and we'll get back to you very soon. And thank you to the Riverlane team for working on this with us. We're excited to see how this initiative plays out.
Thanks so much for having us. See you guys later. Take care.
Thanks, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.